Hello, here I am back again. My churn-dash up quilt, and there's Alfie to bring you a little prize. If you're wanting a little prize for watching, there you go, that's it. Yes, so this is back at the churn-dash up quilt that I am re-quilting after it was initially finished in 2017, because it's a wall hanging that goes up there normally. And what had started to happen was the fabric had started to, you can see it at the top here, starting to pull, although that is also where at the back there is a sleeve, little pocket, long pocket all the way along there, the back, that holds the curtain rail that's up on the wall. So that's why that says well, and that also means that I cannot quilt there. I did mention all of this in the last video I did. That's just the software coming on. Yes, so this is where I'm at. This is the second video of this project of me re-quilting it, because back in the day when I had just a domestic machine, I didn't have a long arm. I used to quilt the barest minimum. Now this is from before, this was there before, but all of this here now is the new quilting, which I'm going to show you more of later on in the video. But for now, I'm just getting people up to date with where I'm at on this project, and that you need to watch the first video if you want to know the full story and what the full quilt looks like, etc. I'll put a link to that somewhere. Okay, so if you have watched that first video, you may well notice that the quilt looks quite different. And it's the same quilt, and it does look a bit different because it's got a heck of a lot more quilting on down here. The bits you can see there. Other than that was from before. I just obviously done some decorative stitching around in there, but all of this other area is all new quilting in the last week. But another thing that is different as such majorly about it is it's not facing the same way. You will need to look back at that old video to see previously I had loaded my quilt that way, so lengthwise on the poles and the frame I had done it. Now I've taken it off the leaders, I unpinned it and turned it around, and I've repinned it back onto the long arm frame, so that will now enable me to do some of these long sections, and I want to do a little bit more in here as well, to build up that area. Like I said, I cannot quilt in there because I'm not going to take the sleeve off and put that back on again. I've decided now that's not within the remit. Yeah, and there's another one of these further down the bottom, so I may well do some more of that. And to load the quilt on this way vertically now makes that so much easier, because I can get all that done in one throat space, whereas before that was facing vertical to me, and I would have had to keep winding the quilt on to get the whole strip quilted. So I re-quilted the whole thing, and then I've taken off the frame and I've reloaded it, ready to do the last few final touches. Yeah, nearly there, nearly there. Okay, now here we go. But you might be saying, hold on a minute, Diane, that doesn't look like your churn-dash up quilt. And you'd be right, it is not my churn-dash up quilt. But this is a little quick, very quickly put on quilt practice sandwich. And I use this for checking tension, checking that it's stitching okay, perhaps practicing the design I'm going to be doing, just to get my brain knowing where it's at and my body moving accordingly. And ordinarily, on a quilt, a normal, when you're just making a quilt and you load it onto the long arm, or you've got it at your domestic machine, you have the excess wadding and backing all around your quilt top to have space to do that sort of thing. But because, of course, I'm re-quilting this, it's all bound and finished as such, I don't have that luxury. So what I've done is I've got the churn-dash it up quilt over there, and I'm just here on this corner. I'm gonna just test the stitching and everything is okay, because I've been a bit naughty. I haven't oiled my bobbin here or anything yet, so it might go wrong, in which case I'll oil the bobbin and I'll do any work that needs doing. But I just think it's worth noting for any of you, if you're wanting to re-quilt a project, is take this into consideration, that your quilt doesn't have anywhere for you to practice and test thread tension, that your machine's going well, and to warm yourself up towards the activity you're going to be doing. That's my main aim in this particular part of the video. It doesn't matter where you're quilting. If you're re-quilting something that's basically a finished project, you will need to practice all of that and test that before you start. Otherwise, you're making possibly mistakes and errors. Mistakes and errors? Mistakes and errors. Maybe you're doing them both. Yeah, on your quilt. But I would recommend doing this anyway. But normally you've got the excess wadding and backing to help you out with that. So let's have a go. Needle down, needle up, move the machine back as I hold the top thread and bring the bobbin thread up. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but it's not really necessary for you. It's as long as you realise why I'm doing this off my actual quilt. What are we on? Oh, we're on precision mode, which the machine will stop stitching as soon as I start moving the arm, the controller. So then, I didn't cut my threads, I'll just cut off my threads there now. And I'm going to check underneath to see that my tension knot is all okay. And actually I think I'll do that, and then I'm going to practice the little loop-de-loop design before I go on to the main quilt. Quick little view of my practice sandwich. You'll see certain elements of this in the main churn-dash it up quilt. There you go, you can see there's the main quilt, and here's my little practice one next door to it. And I'm just showing you, it's just been quilted over and over again, as different times while I was quilting that, I practiced the pieces and the quilting on here first. I just did a little flower there, which you maybe can't even see because it's just quilted all over all sorts of other things. But that's fine. And then I went on to practice, the other way, the loop-de-loop. There we go. So that now, when I go on to doing that above here, all will be well, hopefully. My aim is to have the loop-de-loops going the other way. So this will go up there like that, and I'll try and get above each loop from that original quilting, was it, God, 7 years ago. Oh my God. And you'll look at that, you'll see the stitches are all sorts of different lengths. Whereas I'm going to be stitching in precision mode, which will ensure that my stitch length's all the same. And I will have to be careful up at this end because I can't replicate that loop there because there's a P there. So I'll probably stop around here. If I video it, you'll see it. And then I'll just make sure that I know where I'm going to be quilting when I get down this end. Okay, see you in a second. This is where I really had some fun. As you can see, this involved was getting an S, an E and a W, and I had to group them so that they would all resize and that together. It did cause me some issues with the S because as it does each letter, it secures the stitches at the end and then it carries the stitches. If you don't have a long arm, you might not understand, or a digital embroidery machine. But when it secures the stitches here, it then didn't break thread. It just carried on to there. And I think by the time it got to the S's, sometimes it was, I don't know, maybe it was pulling too much on the thread. I'm not sure. But some of these S's gave me trouble and I had to unpick them a couple of times. But I got there. I did the learning. I saw what happened. That one I had to sort of like accept that is what it is because I'd had enough of them picking and redoing. And so that one did take quite a while, but it's so worth it. And then I love, I put the S, the E and the W all separate in that central block around those scissors. Because of course the fabrics I have is scissors I have put in it, and it's sewing. And that probably all came about because I found this fabric and I thought, oh, that's a white low volume. I'll use that behind my Loud and Proud Improv churn-dash. And I've got the letters. See, that one's quite cool. That one, I got that to skew to fit into that shape. That looks fab. Yeah, churn-dash it up. Play around, learn, develop. That's the only way we get any better. And this one, oh, this is quite cool as well with these little floral type shape. I love that. That was a design on the software and I've made it fit in that shape. I think I might have skewed it. These ones as a design from the software, and I had to resize it and get it all right. It took a bit of time to get that each one of those four corners the right size to fit in that white area. And then the center one is just a lovely plain flower as such. But looking good, I like that. And then this last one, I think this was my first one, and I clearly needed to have warmed up a bit more before I'd actually done this. But anyway, I've done that design, of course, and then with that one, I've echoed it as well. So in all four corners, that's what I've done. Result's not amazing. Possibly could unpick it, but I'm not going to. This is about learning and playing and churn-dash it up. Stop sweating the small stuff. And that one is a design that goes into there and then up, and then you come down and you do it the other way. Hopefully some of these designs might give you ideas as well. And see, that one had a scallop in it as well from 2017, but I haven't bothered to put anything in the middle of that one. I think that was the first one. You can tell really, can't you? But you've got to accept your own standard as such. And with this one, I want to learn and develop and play and actually quilt. I sometimes find myself doing so much stuff with the business. I don't actually get the quilting done. And I've got some commissions to do, so I needed to warm up, get back in the game. So this has been my getting back in the game. And so when I go to do my commissions, I'll be firing on all cylinders. Right, I'll just show you that last little bit that's under there. Although you've seen, actually I won't bother because you've seen that already. At the beginning of the video. Yeah, so hopefully that's been of some use to you about re-quilting a quilt and playing and learning and developing your skills whilst re-quilting. Okay, what I'm going to do here now, I'm having to hold it by hand again, so sorry about all the shaking. I'm just going to show you the back of the quilt so you can see what it looks like now after it's been re-quilted. Let me show you. Okay, here's the top. So obviously churn-dash it up is back to front. And you can see I've used, I haven't bothered changing the colour of my bobbin this time. It's all, I've used glide thread throughout on this re-quilting, and it's the colour bone. I didn't bother finding it's bone's what I use a lot. And I didn't bother going to find the right colour for the back. And I'm quite glad I did, because look, I know sew is back to front on the back, but I quite like the look of it. I'm quite happy with it. You know, that it shows up so much on the back. See, this is my block that I'm least happy with. That was when my first block, and I clearly wasn't warmed up enough. But it's fine. I'm not taking it out. It's all part of the process, as they say. Let me move that out of the way. Look, that one looks quite nice. Considering the fact it's such a geometric shape. Those scallops, that looks like a bit of an ivy leaf, doesn't it? I'm happy with that. That's good. I like it. And there's my favourite one, I think. Although I possibly could have done with pointing that one the other angle. Who knows? Who knows? But this is the back. And there's my squirrely-whirly loop-de-loop one. That looks quite good as well, especially on that colour. And then this is the one. I don't think I need to say anything. That was me quilting around the embroidered scissors on the front. Yeah, make of that what you will. I really love the way it makes a churn-dash shape. That's cracking. Oh, that was worth the effort. All that crosshatch in there. I like the look of that. It was worth the effort, definitely. And there's my, where are they? Floral type one. That is great as well. And definitely the quilting is taking the pride, not the churn-dash shape, really. Because actually you can't really see a churn-dash shape on the back of this one. Just looks like it was a square. That's fine. That's fine. And then it's moving down. This is the bottom bit where it says, well, I embroidered it before I sandwiched the quilt together, so you can't see the letters on the back of this one. But this is where they are. It's meant to be fun. And there you go. There's the label. And the whole thing was to inspire creativity. And in 2024, it's done it all over again. So there you go. Let's see if I can get up without... Oh, there we go. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it's inspired your creativity and for you to get quilting, get practicing, get developing your skills, because you have got better in the last few years, without a doubt. If you've managed to practice and play and learn and enjoy it, quit all the rules, just get on and play and enjoy and just learn all the things. Bye. Okay, back at the video. I've decided to call it a day. I've decided to finish. I was going to re-quilt these as well, but I've decided, since really a lot of the purpley pinky spaces in this quilt have not been quilted because they are the churn-dash shape, and I wanted that to stand out the most. I've decided, no, I'm not going to quilt there. And that doesn't need to be quilted as such, because it's barely like 2 inches. That's plenty. Because often your batting will say that how much space you should have between your stitching, and the wadding I use often is at least 8 inches, so that's fine. And I think it helps the eye have somewhere to rest. There's not, because there's so many different quilting designs on this project. I just think I quite like the idea of that not being quilted. I think it softens it, even though it is a wall hanging. I love this bottom bit. It's meant to be fun, and with this churn-dash on the end. The only thing I'm not happy with, I had to hand stitch this beading again because it's come off, and there's a little section there that's not amazing, but I ain't going to unpick that again and do it again. It's going to be fine. Yeah, I love this. Just looks so much better now with this here, this horizontal quilting, although it was actually done vertically because I did that when the quilt was loaded the other way around. Yeah, I love those piano keys around the words to be. Those are little beads. They just stayed as they were. And then this top bit, the actual fabric has those little dots in it. So all I did was stitch around the dots. So, yeah, loving that row. So that's the bottom row. And then here we go. This is the next row up from there. This is a real improv pieced block, this one. Sorry about the shaking. But yeah, this was done previously. I think there was a digital embroidery design. I did that on my brother machine, not on the long arm. And then this time I've echoed round that strange churn-dash shape. Is it 3 times, 3 rows of stitching around. So I love that. That one went fine. This one took a little bit more. All this crosshatch, I did that on the digital software of my long arm. And it took me quite a while, to be honest, to get these to turn properly. So a lot of learning went on for doing this. I've got the larger spaces between those areas, and then obviously the smaller areas there. But it all worked out good. It's fine. And there's a lot of learning. This is what this is all about, playing and learning. And this is another one. That was done with a mixture of rulers, and then when I got to the top, I did free motion round those little circles at the top. Yes, I like that one as well. That one worked out really well. And on we go, up the quilt. This is the next row. So in the background space of the churn-dash, all of these, I've tried to not quilt on the churn-dash itself, and I've just quilted in the background pieces to try and flatten those areas a little bit more. Sometimes I redid Stitch in the Ditch, which I think I did do a little bit. Yes, I did with this one as well. I did Stitch in the Ditch a little bit around the turn just to try and highlight it a bit more as well. So that's that one. That one was fairly straightforward. But again, just because something's straightforward doesn't mean it's quick. It still took a little bit of time, especially all the Stitch in the Ditch. It's just need to take it slow and steady. Otherwise, it's not in the ditch, and you'll probably notice a lot of mine aren't, but it's helping create the churn-dash shape that little bit more, give it a little bit more definition. And the one next to that, oh, this one was fun. All these different, these corner ones, that one and that one, they gave me a little bit of hassle because it's sort of improv piece, isn't it, as you can see. The shape here was a little bit different. I couldn't fit the row of two bubbles on there, so I found one with a bit more of a curve, and I had to adjust the curve to make sure it fitted in to this white area as well as possible. But again, all that's fun, and the feeling of satisfaction when you get it in and it fits brilliantly. But I love these, and this one's going off on a bit of an angle. I like that one. I just love the software, is so clever, and this central piece, oh, that is so nice. But again, it takes a little bit of while to get it located where you want it, resize it and make it work for what you want it to work. But I was really happy with that one. That one really went well. This was one of the blocks that had some bubbly fabric, because of the way I'd quilted it before. It wasn't quite flat, so all I did was spray with some water, and then actually I don't think I even used starch. I think I just sprayed it with a mist of water, got a red hot iron on it then, and well, it's still on the frame, and then I ironed over it, and you'd be amazed at how much excess you can get rid of. Now it might look worse on there, but it's fine. Once that's hung, it's no problem whatsoever. So those are a couple of other issues I had, which you'll see in the previous video as well. But I'm happy with the outcome of that one. And I love the look of that. I love that. It's gorgeous. And this one has got scallops. Scallops all around all of the white areas. And I didn't redo this one. And I thought of that scalloping design because back in 2017, I'd used a decorative stitch, and that's what I'd done inside. So I thought I would try and replicate that as such in my freehand work. So that was free motion, that was. So that's a cracker as well, like that one. Okay, I'll advance it more in the next row. I'm going to go in and pull up my bobbin thread, and I'm going to do a few secure stitches first because I don't bury my threads. I do some very tiny, 4 or 5 very tiny little stitches at the beginning to secure that thread so it doesn't come out later on. So now I'm going to focus and check that my brain knows what it's doing, and I'm going to get going. And I'm going to explain about the loading and how that's affecting me because I'm re-quilting. This video being all about re-quilting, really, because I don't have any excess wadding and backing to help secure the sides of my quilt. I've had to do something else, and it does affect what I'm doing, and I have to move these to certain places, but I'll talk about that in a second when I get to the other end, because it'll be a bit easier for you to see, or I'll move the camera. But at the moment, you're just going to see me doing the loop-de-loops across here. I'm trying to remember about that P being in the way at the end. Let's hope so. I might not film that bit if I get it wrong. Right, trying to focus. Right, so I'm going to go the opposite way to the way they're going. And that's it. Following with my finger, trying to really reassure my brain that it, and make sure it does the right thing. Let's go. They look quite different to the other ones because of the whole regularity of the stitch length, and I've developed my skills obviously massively since 2017. But it's so much easier. God, I enjoy using the long arm. It just makes it so much easier. I'm not having to lug the quilt all around by my sewing machine. Right, I'm going to stop here, right at the join of the loop-de-loops, and I'm just going to get in my head what I can do. I think, let me see if I can get it. I think I'll be able to get this one done. I'll get that one done. And then I think what I'll have to do is then just go underneath the P and, or will I do 2? 1 and 2, and then I might just get 2 in. I might just, even though there's only really 1 above here, could only really fit 1 above there. But I think there'll be too much of a gap then. And I don't really want to squeeze 1 in at the end because there isn't 1 there. Or I could put 1 there. But again, this is maybe where I'll show you about this. See, this strap is pinned on. It's, let me see if I can get, there you go. It's on, held at the frame is holding it. And this strap is in this like clamp. And this piece of rainbow fabric is holding the edges, because it's a lot of reasons, because I've got a ruler plate on and a ruler plate underneath. It hits other methods of joining, like if I just had this on the edge of my quilt. It's a bit confusing. It's all to do with loading on a long arm. But what I have tried to do is I've tried to put this lower than where I'm actually going to be quilting up here, so that this is out of the way. Or I could even just take this off, because actually I know my quilt is all secure because, oops, it's all been quilted before. So yeah, it should be fine. So if it gets, sometimes whilst doing this, I have just taken them off because they've really just got in the way. And it's not holding my 3 layers together at all and keeping them all so they don't move, because it's not moving anywhere now because it's been quilted very well. Okay, I will just go off and finish that now. Final decisions, 1 or 2 loops before the P. I think I'm going to do 2. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. No, sorry. There we go, and 1 and 2, and then under the P and out to the side, and then I will secure my stitches along that thread of previous stitching if I can, because of course I can't go into the purple edge, as that will show and it'll look awful. And there we go. Let's pull that bobbin thread up, which you probably can't see, but it's not a tutorial, this is just showing you some of the elements involved in re-quilting a project. There you go. I'll give you a quick look at that now. Let's just take it off. Whoops. Can I flick it? Yes. There we go. So this top row of loop-de-loops is what I've just done. See, I decided I went under the P, and there's, whoops, there's the loop-de-loops on the top row. And you can see, don't they look quite different from the ones at the bottom? I'm fine with that. That's what this quilt and this re-quilting has been all about. It's a good opportunity for me to practice and play and develop my skills. This is how it happens. I'm afraid you don't develop your skills unless you practice and play. And re-quilting a project like this is a perfect time to do it, because you don't have to worry about all the layers or anything, because all the layers are secure anyway. And you can learn about all the different things I've mentioned about starching some of your blocks, maybe if they are a little bit puffy. Right, so I've done that. I'm going to advance the quilt so I can see more of it and see if there's any other areas I want to do whilst it's still on the frame. And whilst I'm at it, I'll take some photos of the blocks and I'll just put them as part of the video.